Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the Sports Drive. As promised, we've got special guest Preston Moore. What? Why are you laughing?
Special guest. I appreciate being a special guest.
I know, because you're the host, so now you get to be the special guest.
Normally, I'm on the other side of the table. I'm glad to be over here now.
Perfect. Well, he's on the other side of the table because we have big news today. We're launching a new show dedicated to sports. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it's Sports Drive, basically. We're just doing an extra episode of Sports Drive, a different episode of Sports Drive. If you watch this show, you've heard about it before. We've talked about it plenty. But tonight will be our first episode live. It's called Sports Drive Live. We're going to be doing it from X-Bar Steakhouse at 7 p.m. We're going to have a live audience. If you're watching now, you can show up at X-Bar tonight and watch. We have a really exciting panel lined up, a lot of good guests coming on for our very first episode. Personally, I'm really excited. You know, it's just different to be able to do something with a live audience. You know, Riley and I were talking about it last week. You know, we're in this studio now. It's all set up for TV, obviously. You know, we have the monitor behind us with the logo. We have the lights. We have all the system and everything ready to go. It's set up to be a TV studio. But now we're going to go out to X-Bar, do a show from a steakhouse that's twice as long as our summer celebration shows were remotely. And so we're going to do an hour-long show from X-Bar Steakhouse every single week with different guests every single week. WT, AISD, CISD, everything. And we're just really excited to get it going. Obviously, a lot of preparation leading into tonight, the opening night, the debut, if you will. But it's going to be a lot like Sports Drive, basically. If you watch this show, if you like this show, it's going to be a lot like it. It's pretty much the same thing, just on location with everybody there able to watch, providing a little more energy in the atmosphere and kind of bringing Sports Drive to our viewers, which is really cool for me, is being able to, you know, interact with the people who watch the show and being able to provide an opportunity for them to come and see the show. You know, I mean, I watch ESPN all the time, and I remember one time in college game day came to Stillwater when I was at Oklahoma State, and it was just the coolest thing to physically be there at the show that I watch every single weekend already. So obviously a much smaller scale. Sports Drive is not quite as big as college game day, but still it'll be really cool for our viewers to come and be a part of it. Hopefully, you know, if we get enough people, we could do a shot with the entire crowd one of these weeks, you know, behind me.
That's a call out. Please come.
Yeah, please come. I mean, if we get enough people to come, it would be really, really cool to have everybody on screen. And it's going to be aired at the same place that you watch regular Sports Drive. If you're watching this right now live, it'll be in the same spot, whether that's on News Channel 10.2 or newschannel10.com. We'll do it all through the same stuff, just at 7 p.m. every single Monday.
I think it's so exciting because there's definitely so many families across the Panhandle like mine who, you know, I'm a Tascosa fan, but we keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there's big stories just everywhere you look. There's big stories with each team. So being able to go to a show that's talking about all those teams, I think that's just going to be so fun. Like we won't just be talking about one thing. We're talking to different coaches. And speaking of coaches, give us a little preview of what we got tonight. A
little preview. Well, tonight I think we have a pretty star-studded lineup, if I do say so myself.
And you are the expert.
And I am the expert, that's right. So I get to say that. But no, I'm really excited because, like you mentioned, we are going to cover all different sports. You know, and we're not only covering football. We're not only covering one school district. We're not only covering one, you know, level, collegiate, pro, high school. We're not only covering one level of sports. We're going to cover everything there is in the local scene. This weekend, or tonight, I'm really excited because we have Haley Burns, Randall head coach, volleyball, obviously defending state champion. Really excited to have her on. Hopefully she can bring a player on as well. We're still working that out, but it would be really cool to get one of the players on too. And then we're also going to have Josh Lynn coming off his very first win as head coach of WT. That's a huge deal. You know, not only coming off his first win, but coming off his first win with a couple of freshman starters on the offense. A lot of things changing over the course from week 1 to week 2. out at WT, to get their first win, not only to get their first win under Josh Lynn, but to get their first win at home is a huge deal. So I'm really excited to talk to him about that. And then Chad Dunham, head coach of Amarillo High. The Sandys have had a pretty solid start to the season so far. Obviously, they lost this last game, but still played really well. They had our hit of the week and play of the week last week. So a lot of bright spots to come from that loss, even though it was a loss. So I'm really excited to talk to him, kind of preview the rest of the season as well. And then obviously, just today I've worked on booking guests for next week and the weeks after that. So we're really excited to get an all-star lineup every single week, week in and week out. And, if you're a fan of local sports, if you're a fan of these schools, if you're a fan of WT, but you've never had the opportunity to, see these coaches in person or hear them talk about what they do in person, this is that opportunity for you basically to see us talk about what they're doing in and out. And we don't only necessarily talk about, how did you win the last game? How are you going to win the next game? That's easy, obviously, and we'll talk about that because that's always pertinent. But at the same time, I love getting into, the details of why they love the sport, why they love coaching, what's different about this team this year that they have than last year. I love getting into all those little details, stuff like that. So I'm really excited to get it going. I think tonight's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a huge success. I'm already preparing for it to be a huge success. I've gone through all the bells and whistles and making sure everything's picture perfect for tonight. We've got a large crew of people who've prepared for this for weeks, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
One thing you mentioned earlier was ESPN. I know obviously we watch a lot of ESPN. The rest of the sports team does too. I think anybody, even if they're not a fan of high school sports around here or college sport or any sports around here, they don't keep up with it. I think if they keep up with ESPN, it's still going to be cool to see that style show on our level.
Right.
Like, I was watching, obviously, College Game Day. I think it's so fun to watch that. And, like, their little signs that they bring and reading and just seeing who's a fan of who. I definitely think that's going to make it so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a blast. One thing that I remember, another story of mine from when I was in college in Stillwater was one time I was at a chicken restaurant with my mom, and it was dead. Nobody was there. But they were doing a radio show live from that restaurant with the head coach of the men's basketball team at Oklahoma State. And I just remember sitting there, and I know, right? Which, let's not let that happen tonight. Let's get everybody out there at X-Bar tonight at 7. But no, I remember sitting there with my mom and just being like, that's Coach Boynton. Like, that's the head coach of the men's basketball team at Oklahoma State. That's insane. And he's doing a show, not from a studio, but from a chicken store, a chicken shop, which was pretty cool for me just to see that. So, I think it'll be cool for even people who are just at X-Bar for dinner and just see like, hey, what's going on over there? We're doing a TV show for a full hour, 7 to 8, every Monday throughout football season for the next 8 Mondays. We're going to not only talk football, like I mentioned. We'll get into WT, we'll get into everything we can.
Very excited. Well, Preston, thanks for coming on. How can people watch you tonight?
If you want to watch tonight, come back right where you're watching right now. News Channel 10-2 or online at newschannel10.com. We'll have a live stream up there. However you're watching the show right now, you can watch it again tonight. If you're watching this right now but not live, you can come back to newschannel10.com where you're watching it now, presumably, and watch it there. Personally, I'm just so excited. It's gonna be a blast. We've got everything set up, ready to go, and we'll be having a lot of fun every single Monday at 7 p.m. X-Bar Steakhouse for the next 8 weeks.
Perfect. Thanks, Preston, and stay with us. We'll be right back.